Okay, so we've kind of talked about this a couple of times. We've had problems like this on the worksheets. All right. So whenever you're going to factor tractor, first thing you need to do is put the quadratic in order. Okay. And in order, that means descending by exponent. So the highest exponent is this term here. So I'm going to put the 2x squared first. The next highest exponent is the term with an x, so minus 7x, and then minus 15. How is this different than the other ones we've factored? Okay, the other ones we factored have had just a 1 in front of x squared. Okay, it's just been 1x squared. And then you can just go straight to what multiplies to this, adds to this, right? Those are really easy. So now we have any other number besides 1, and we're going to do what I call AC factoring. Okay, that's what this is called, AC factoring. So we actually are looking for two numbers that multiply to be this times this. All right. So when I multiply A times C, that's the first one times the last one, that would be negative 30. So our two numbers that we're going to try to find have to multiply to negative 30. And we still look for numbers that add to the middle term. So the same two numbers have to add to be negative 7. All right. Now, if you can just think of them off the bat, that's great. If you can't, okay, you always would list your factors of 30. Anything that goes into 30. So let's just do them all. Okay. 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6. Okay. So again, they have to multiply to a negative. So one of them has to be negative. And they have to add to negative 7. So Micaiah, which one do you think it is? 3 times 10. And Lucas, which one of those has to be negative in order to add to a negative 7? Yep. So I have to have this. 3 times negative 10 multiplies to negative 30. And 3 plus negative 10 multiplies to negative 7. All right. So now we rewrite it as 4 terms. And we're really good at factoring by 4 terms, right? We've done a ton of those. So we rewrite this, and instead of writing our middle term, we replace that middle term with these two terms. So I rewrite 2x squared. And it does not matter what order you do these in, right? You can actually do it in either order. So I'm going to do plus 3x and minus 10x. So my two factors go here with x's on them. And then minus 15, that same number at the end. Notice this still equals negative 7x, right? So I'm not changing the value. All right. So now I'm going to factor by grouping, which we've done a lot of. So we look for what factors out of the first two terms. So Jackie, what factors out of the first two terms? Good. All right. And Dylan, what's left over when I take out an x? Good. If the third term is negative, we factor out a negative. All right. So make sure you do that. So Jordan, what should I take out? What's the GCF of these two terms? Yep, negative 5. So if I take a negative out, it's going to change this to positive. And you want to think 5 times what gives me 10, so 2x, right? And same thing here, I took a negative out, so that's going to change it to a positive. And 5 times what gives me 15? 3. Plus, these have to match, or you messed up, right? Oops. Did not mean to do that. And then, so now, whatever I factored out goes together, and my second set of parentheses is like a GCF, 2x plus 3. And we're done. All right, so let's try another one. Negative 11x minus 21 plus 2x squared. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is put it in order. So Evan, if I put it in order, what does that look like? Good. Okay, we know we're doing AC factoring because there is not a 1 in front of x squared. Otherwise, we would do easy factoring. Okay. So we're going to do AC factoring, so we're looking for two numbers that Nico multiply to be what? Negative 42, good. Okay, they have to multiply to be negative 42. And Alex, they add to be what? Good. Okay, and add to be negative 11. So I know some of you guys can think of them, but let's list them all out anyways, all right? So we've got 1 times 42, 2 times 21. Does 3 go into that? Yep. 3 times 14. 4, no. 5, no. What's the last one? 6 and 7, okay? So there's all the things that multiply to be 42. So they need to add to be negative 11 and also multiply to a negative. So 1 has to be negative. So Corey, which one is going to get me 11 by adding or subtracting? That is correct. 3 and 14. Yep. We got to make the 14 negative in order to add to negative 11. Okay. So again, we're going to write it as 4 terms. So I'm going to replace my middle term. And instead of this, we're going to put these two with x's on there in either order. So 2x squared plus 3x minus 14x minus 21. And from here, we should be good to go because we've done this a lot. So Isaac, what factors out of the first 2 terms? Close. Does a 2 come out of a 3? Yep, just an x. Good. Okay, Aaron, what's left if I take out an x? Good. 2x plus 3. And Sophia, what should I factor out of the next 2 terms? Yep, negative 7. Good. So that changes both of the signs. So this becomes 2x plus 3. Again, those should match. So now I have x minus 7 and my GCF 2x plus 3 written as one set of parentheses. All right, let me see. Let's go to the next one because it's really hard. All right. (15x squared minus 29x minus 14). Okay. So we might need to calculate. Okay, so here we go. First thing we need to do is we got to multiply these to figure out my 2 numbers. They have to multiply to be 15 times negative 14. So someone who has a calculator, yes, Drew. Okay. Okay, and then they have to add to be the middle one, which is negative 29. So here's one where you might have to work a little bit harder. It might not just come to you, okay? Anybody have it come to them? No? Nope. All right, so let's try it. 1 times 2, 10. Probably doesn't get me 29. 2 times 105. Probably doesn't get me 29. Okay, 3 times what? 70. Does that get me 29? No. Okay. Does 4 go into that? No. 5? Yeah. 5 times what? 42? Almost there. How about 6? 6 go into that? Yeah. 6 times 35? Oh, I lost my mouse. Okay. 6 times 35? Does that give me 29? It does. All right. So notice we had to use a calculator and divide until we got there. So some of these take a little time. So now they need to add to negative 29. So Caleb, which one has to be negative? Okay, negative 35. So I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to replace the middle term with these two. So 15x squared plus 6x minus 35x minus 14. And now we're going to factor by grouping. So Monica, what comes out of the first 2 terms? Good. 3x. And then what's left if I take out a 3x? Okay, 5x plus 2, right? Because we took the x out of the second one. All right. And Bethany, what can come out of the second 2 terms? Negative 7. We had a lot of negatives on the third term. So I should get the same thing. Make sure you do. 7 times 5 would give me the 35, right? And negative 7 times positive 2 would give me the negative 14. All right, so then we get 3x minus 7, and 5x